And we are back, friends. It's been too long since I've seen these good people. I've missed their company. I've missed sharing laughs and levity, and of course, doing just some serious, good old-fashioned role playing using Savage Worlds, the rule set brought by Shane Hensley and Clint Black. Built atop of that, East Texas University is the setting that we will be playing tonight. Preston DeBose, Ed Wetterman, thank you, gentlemen, for your hard work. Prater's Rejects. I'm going through a little bit of a facelift. Duff is looking for new ways to get our role-playing games and sessions and streams out to YouTube, and maybe a little less Twitch, a little more YouTube. It's a work in progress. It's a labor of love for our friend Duff. So a shout out to the Prater's Rejects channel for hosting these videos. It's been so long since we played. I don't even know what session this is. I'm going to guess 28. Let me go to my directory where these things are stored. Let's one up under there. This PC videos. Oh boy, am I wrong. Oh wow. This is episode 32 by the reckoning.
Oh well, we broke 30
of my hard drive. Indeed. So many good tales, so many good yarns have been spun with these college students, and so many more left to tell. And sort of the sneak preview would be Shep's precognitive flashes, where occasionally I'll just drop just a taste, just a tidbit of some adventures that are coming down the line. In this, the East Texas University Degrees of Horror plot point campaign. We're in the latter half, the spring semester of sophomore year. Still a lot of tales to be told. Corey, you ran this campaign 4 years ago. We picked it up, blew the dust off, decided to keep playing, and here we are already at episode 32. My goodness, there's a little bit of history there. But thanks so much for getting us started, giving us exposure to a rule set other than the very good Dungeons & Dragons 5e, but there are other rule sets out there. They each have their own strength and weakness, whether it's a richness in the lore, sort of a different take on the combat system, new races, additional spells. Every game system, I think you can walk away and take something good from it, and say, that's something I'd like to incorporate. So I will proffer to you Savage Worlds. Swade, SWADE, the Savage Worlds Adventurers Deluxe Edition. I'm going to increase my volume just a little bit, as I think it was a little low last time we recorded. And I don't want to be shouted down by these good players with their enthusiasm. To my players, the artwork, the little snippets, the back of the napkin sketches, the Sims creations, cartoons that seem to apply, and of course, our own little bits of art never fail to amuse me and to give me that little impetus to keep going and try even harder to put out a good story, some good shenanigans, good role play, realistically portrayed villains, and using essentially the framework of the class dismissed plot point campaign, but a little of the one sheets mixed in, and of course some of my own DM, Savage Worlds, East Texas University creativity, some of my old goodness mixed in to spice things up a little bit. Phil Cho, we continue to use your Deviant art website's artwork that you've presented. I'll blow up this here map just a little bit and The two gals to the left and the lower, the gal in the beret and the black turtleneck sweater, maybe, a skirt. Just two examples of just all the goodness and richness of these character portraits that Phil Cho has elected to put up on the DeviantArt website. So, Mr. Cho, if you're listening, I hope someday to meet you and just thank you face to face. However, for now, a virtual thanks will have to do. And I think that is everything. It's been a hot minute since we played. We've had, of course, those late summer incidences of weather and inclement storms going through, hurricanes, other sorts of electronic effects, power outages, and we've had one player that's had to change their work schedule a little bit. So I'm going to say, try to sneak these games in, perhaps a little more irregularly than before, and maybe not as often as we'd all like to play. But if we can see, for example, tonight, an unusual Friday game where everybody's available, let's just jump in and keep the wheel spinning, keep things going, keep telling the tale of these college students in the city of Pinebox, Texas. This little town right on the border between East Texas, not surprisingly, and western Louisiana, just inside the state of Texas from the Big Thicket, this big area of swampland, which boasts all sorts of critters and animals in their natural habitat, reptiles, flora, your Venus flytraps, etc. In other kinds of insects. Of course, those red fire ants, deadly in number when they attack en masse. And when last we played, these characters were attempting to acquire it's been so long I've forgotten how to pronounce it. I want to say Canopic, but no, it's not. It's neither Canopic nor Canoptic or Coptic. It's a
All of them sound right.
Coptic? Coptic?
Is it?
Canopic.
I think
Coptic.
last time we
Canopic?
had said it was a Canopic Urn, but I don't know.
Canoptic, Coptic, you know, one of those Egyptian
Was it
urns,
an Egyptian urn?
probably made of some sort of porcelain, very shiny, where some artisan or craftsman had painted using a bright gold, brass-colored paint to sort of paint striata around it, almost to make it look like it has metal bands that hold it together. And of course, the lids are varied from the image of a pharaoh, with the long black beard with the sort of gold lines across it, to some of the representations of the Egyptian, the mythos of their list of deities, whether it be I don't know, a raven or an ibis or a cat or a jackal, something like that. Indeed, they were searching for such an item, half or more filled with various things that were precious to members of the Jewish faith who met their demise during the Holocaust. There is once a escaped Nazi doctor and criminal, Franz Heimglimmer, who finished his days in Pinebox, Texas, lived out his days as Frank Mans, a gentle angler, deepwater fisherman, and baseball fan before he ultimately died in his early 90s. He's now trying to come back. He is currently trapped in a state of undeath, and he is using the spirits of the Jews that are associated with these fetishes, these items that they held dear before their death, and trying to cross the curtain and retain his humanity, his mortality. The group has already destroyed one such group of fetishes, freeing those spirits. With a nod of thanks, many of them appeared and floated off into the ether. You were tasked to go to this cemetery, which boasts 3 walls where these urns that generally contain the dust, the ash of the crematorium, and did acquire one such urn from the place provided numerically by one Jennifer Chapman, who was Franz Heimglimmer, now Frank Mann's, now a hideous mockery of human life. She was his consort and his constant companion to, dances and fundraisers and events down at the Capitol in Austin, Texas, and other such public occurrences, manifestations, events. You found the numbered, I don't know what to call it, a little cubby with a key and a little opening that hides some of these urns. Others of these, sort of, you can think of them as a wall full of like a grid work, where some of these urns are visible in their very many appearances. Most of them are urns. Some of them look like little treasure chests. Some of them are held behind I'm going to call it a sturdy door. It was much easier for Sophia to pick that lock surreptitiously and open it up and acquire that. Two of Heimglimmer's cultists assaulted you. One met his demise. I think the killing blow was Shep bringing a weighted backpack down over this individual's head. The impact
You
crushing
do not mess with my girlfriend.
crushed his skull. The other is firing at you from a distance. This cultist that appears here. And you were to sort of reconnoiter later with Jennifer Chapman, this very attractive, middle-aged to perhaps mid to late middle-aged raven beauty, who has only recently started to show some streaks of gray in her raven tresses, perhaps just a little hint of laugh lines and crow's feet, perhaps maybe half a dress size added to her once, as the pictures that you've seen portrayed, her once very svelte figure. You're to reconnoiter with her at her house, and you have that address, bringing this precious urn. And the fetishes it contains, if I'm just going to rattle off some of the things that you would expect to find, having seen such an urn before, it might be a pair of gold spectacles, perhaps a tooth, or some sort of a bone, perhaps, a small prayer book, an item of jewelry such as a Star of David, perhaps a locket, a small item of art, perhaps, a metal pen with an engraving on it, perhaps a small cloth doll for one of the victims, unfortunately, that met their demise early in life, making an unfortunate and very sad event even sadder for the humanity one might have been robbed of at that sort of bleak point in our history of humanity. And I'll give the players an opportunity. Anything that I've overlooked, forgotten, perhaps didn't quite stress enough, any questions that you have, the floor is open to any and all who wish to ask of me such questions.
I just want to commend Sophia for picking the magic lighter from the guy that thinks he still has it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for reminding me I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember you got a fancy lighter off of this guy.
I think it was called
Fire on command.
the Zippo from Hell, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm. But the guy, it's the shooter guy, and he still doesn't realize he doesn't have it.
That is like the one thing that I remember specifically from this encounter, that I was like, oh, Sophia has the power to burn whatever she wants now.
We're in trouble.
Not only was that
Oh,
fool unable to activate it, given 2 tries, the other guy tried
yeah.
to throw some sand that had some sort of effect, which failed as well. So in other words, no effect. He failed to activate, uh, oh, perhaps a talisman or some bag of sand that was enchanted, in some way, shape, manner, or form. Good point on that Zippo from hell, plucked right
You're being
from the open
incredibly
pocket.
rude.
They didn't deserve it.
You
Couldn't even use it.
know? Couldn't even use it. I can only imagine if Sophia was still anti-trees, how fast she would have deforested something with that thing.
There
Mhm.
would be no trees left in Pinebox.
That's right.
Goodness gracious. The names.
Trees.
Yeah, those
Think of how many
chainsaws.
times she's burned buildings down.
Those chainsaws. We can't keep them in stock. This
There
college
was
student keeps
only
buying them all.
only one building, which was technically a greenhouse.
Well,
Yeah.
between you and her, y'all did light up a garage once.
And I think
Oh, I forgot we did do like a bomb thing at a garage because crazy
Mhm.
murderous cultists were there too.
We did it to save a life.
didn't you
Yeah.
also convince a man to ram his pickup truck into the front of a bar, catching the
That wasn't
the
me.
vehicle on fire?
Was that the accidental voodoo stuff that happened?
Yeah, yeah.
I
That
just
was not
remembered
me.
that.
That
being
that was
accidentally
definitely Sophia.
No.
I think it was.
You took his little talisman and you burned
Wait
it.
a minute.
Yeah. That man
Who
died.
messed with the voodoo doll?
Was that
Died horribly. Lost control of
was
his
it the
truck.
drunken abusive husband
Yes.
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Okay. No, that's I would. Sounds like I would do that.
But I don't remember if it was on purpose or if it was an accident.
Oh,
I
she
think it
didn't.
was an accident.
It was
Are
an
you sure it was an
accidental.
accident?
I think it was inadvertent. You didn't.
Because I
I'd
don't
have
think
to
we
go
found
back
out.
and look.
I think that
I
fire
don't think we
occurred
found
sort
out
of.
it was
Corey ran that off camera, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't think we figured out it was a voodoo thing until after the doll was already taken. Like, oh, this is creepy. Get rid of it. And then we talked to like the bruja grandma, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, voodoo afoot," and we're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
Well,
oh."
the grandmother was the one that put the things in there.
She was. She was the
And
we
grandmother of the
basically
children.
finished grandma's
Well,
job.
yeah,
Yeah. She was
because
the.
I think
All right.
only two of us knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That was
It
me
turns.
and Mir.
So the guy who
Oh.
cheated on his wife and left her and their small child, the abuela, the bruja, was the grandmother of that little boy, I believe. He had shacked up with
Mhm.
a new woman, a single mom with 2 kids, and the ghosts, the poltergeists, were affecting mostly him, but that entire trailer, that double wide trailer.
Yeah.
And those 2 little dolls were placed. If you lift up the mattress of the 2 children's beds, there was that mesh of metal with the springs. That's where the 2 little dolls were, to protect those 2 children from
That
the
is so
poltergeist
funny.
that she had summoned to torment basically the man that had spurned her daughter and grandchild. Yes, he
Oh,
died. He died
man.
screaming horribly. I can
Mhm.
imagine he
Going to
opened up his
see.
door and ran out of his car, his pickup truck, just in flames.
If I remember right, I think he also somehow accidentally took out the girl he was going to meet too, because we had found the black book.
Yeah, there were some videotapes also hidden under a floor.
Mm-hmm.
This was 4 years ago, and I was a player at the time. Corey ran this.
Yeah.
I have a passing recollection, but the point being, Sophia, you've burned more than one house down.
I have murdered people.
You know,
Yes.
fire is a trait of yours that follows you across many campaigns.
And
You know what? Yeah.
So
there's a reason why Shep really, is like, yeah, she shot me.
Oh, you're a friend. Friends don't shoot friends. Unless you happen to do something terrible to Ava.
yeah.
You know,
And you
Paraph-
have to shoot the friend or the other
paraphrasing,
friend.
paraphrasing Finding Nemo. Friends, not Tinder. Yeah. Okay.
There
Any
you
other
go.
questions? Anything I've overlooked? Anything you want to point out? I'm still continuing to be all ears.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anything you want to put the brakes on and ask out of band? Like I said, it's been a minute. Feel
Yeah.
completely free to
I mean,
just chime in. There are other people in this cemetery.
And
You've
I
encountered
remember
a
the
few.
woman who walked
Yeah.
up to us
Yeah.
and talking about her horrible ex-husband.
Yeah, she was trying to figure out where he hid all of the money,
Because
all
he
the
had like
cash.
money or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually, it's the woman that's right in front of us.
Probably so. Probably
She's
so.
just
Redhead.
angry.
Yeah.
She was so angry. She's like, I'm just coming to see if he left a key or something.
Yeah. Boy, I would have to say, sticking several T-bills into an urn with your ashes and having it locked away. I mean, there are worse places to hide a stack of cash, I guess, other than going into the woods and maybe burying it at some unmarked location. Could be. But yeah, slam the brakes on to this ongoing saga. Any questions or clarification that I can provide? I do like to say that I run a game where I'm merely presenting the story and I let it play out any way that the players want it to play out or try to affect it or influence it. I've got the events preordained how they're going to happen, but as you'll see later, some things are quite different from the way that they are originally envisioned to be playing out, and that plays some games with the sort of that psychic ability to do precognitive flashes. But generally, the flow remains pretty consistent. I'm going to go back to the combat tracker, where all good things occur. Just give me a quick second. I would be remiss were I not to reset some bennies, maybe.
Please.
Sounds like something good to do.
You know,
You guys could use it.
Ava and Shep, I see your tank is not only at E, it's below E. It's
yeah.
Yep.
Let me reset those bennies. Oh yes, isn't that nice? Bennies, and in
And-
Savage Worlds, bennies are sort of the coin of the realm. If you want to influence the game in some way, there's something you forgot to bring with you, spend a benny and I'll likely give it to you, unless it's something like a Gatling gun, some such things that the players try to slip in sort of under the covers without me noticing. You can also use them to affect a reroll, like an attack or damage. There are different ways that you can play bennies. In other versions of Savage Worlds with a more ordained magic system, you can use it to regain some power points to cast your spells. Doesn't really apply in East Texas University, this particular setting, but that's one of the other things that bennies will permit you to do. Let's see, Shep, I see you've got a level of fatigue. I think that is due to perhaps a very bad night's rest.
Something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's not physical injury or damage. You didn't stub your
Yeah,
toe.
it's
like
either from the night before or from maybe casting the protection spell. Because I noticed we've got that on too.
Right. Yeah, Ava, and I think you stubbed your toe when you tried to kick a brazier. Being careful of pronunciation.
She always has a problem with something. She tries to be cool,
tries to jump a fence,
be strong.
catches her leg
Suddenly,
on it.
her noodle arm shows.
Yeah, tries to stop a copying machine that's been magically animated by a demonic spirit from attacking her and rams her in the knee. Such things,
butts,
And in Texas, East Texas, at the East Texas University, we call that Tuesday. It's not that unusual. So I'm going to start. Let's see, go to the next round, probably round 4. Shep, you're at the top.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Let's see.
Time of day, about 10:30, I would say. You met Jennifer Chapman at the Mary Lynn's Used Books and Emporium. Had a cup of coffee, talked to her, and she impressed upon you the earnest desire to get these fetishes destroyed in some way. She's going to a bank that has safety deposit boxes to acquire the third set of said fetishes. It's about 10:30. It was sort of between church services, if I'm not mistaken.
And just remind me, because it's been a minute.
Oh, yes, sir.
I can move, then attack and continue my movement, or no?
Well, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
I'm
maybe I
going
will.
to move down over here.
Shoot.
And I'm just going to try to pop him with a slingshot rock.
Okay. Target him if you would. And I'm going to put both, I'm going to put my ritualist. Perhaps there was a large fantasy upground. Some stuff got updated. Great numerous amount of files got downloaded. For some reason, I'm not in a square. So I will, high or low. D6, 1, 2, 3 high. 6 low. I'm going to put him down. Just one square. Ah, yes. I see that you have targeted Ritualist.
Yeah.
A miss.
It's interesting. Oh, okay. Now I see why.
It's been a hot minute. Let's just think about this for a second. It is okay. You're shooting, so you should be using your shooting skill and not say athletics, which is what you'd be using if, say, you were hurling a spear or a javelin. So it
Right.
says it correctly stated that we're using the shooting skill. I see your
Yeah.
fatigue is figured in. The medium
It's the medium range.
-2 against.
Yeah, that's I had to teach myself to reread that.
I see. I see.
I know, right? It's been a second.
It's been a
It's
hot
been
second. If you want to change your movement, put yourself at short range and try again. I'm feeling benevolent. I'm not letting Shep do anything I wouldn't let one of my own guys do when I said, "Oh yeah, it's been a while. Oh yeah, that slingshot range, 4 squares is short." For example, I really don't recall
Okay.
what the
We
range
will
is.
try it again.
Ooh, a 6 aces, extra 2. Looks like a hit. Not with a raise. Damage is going
Unharmed.
to be 2.
I'm feeling like I really want to try to harm him, so I'm going to try my luck.
Okay.
And spend a Benny.
Spend a Benny and re-roll that damage. You.
Okay, I feel better now.
Have shaken him.
And I'm just like, okay, go.
I've got all these DM bennies. I really want to use one, but I'm going to game the system a little bit. I'm not going to try to unshake immediately. As his turn is next, he's going to get a chance to unshake automatically. Yep. I will accept.
And I moved.
Let's see. A miss. I'm going to get
I'll
rid
be
of
right
that.
back one quick second.
Certainly. I'm going to apply that shaken status. I do indeed see that ritualist is now shaken. Yeah.
And
probably
the weird thing is, it didn't give me a way to end my turn.
Well, that's
Did you start
That's
the
interesting.
turn?
That's interesting. Perhaps I didn't. I'll go to next combatant.
Okay. And now I'll end it.
I'll let you do that. Yeah. Oh, and oh my goodness, he managed to unshake himself. That's kind of excellent. Um, let me do NPCs all. What would that be called? I believe I would find him under P. M. No. Would it be under S for sheriff's deputy? No, but I do have a. Isn't that odd? Would it be under a P for Pinebox Police? Maybe? Professor Psychic. That's odd. I wish I was able to find that. Let me,
Did you check under CC for corrupt cop?
yeah, could do that. I see Sheriff Butch Anderson. I could always use him. But
I
let
mean,
me try this little search feature. Let me search for POL. There it is. County Sheriff's Police.
yeah, I was close.
Deputy Pinebox Police. ETU extras. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Drop him on. Stretch it out a little bit. Dismiss this window. Pull up that one. Have him draw a card. On hold. Deal. Very good. Very good, as a matter of fact. As you are running, let's see. I will. He's not even on the map yet. So just drag him there. Make him visible. He will show as a letter D to those that can see him. Can you see him along the curve of the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
I see him.
Since I have the ritual selected, it's given me that. What's it called? Like shadows or line of sight. I wanted to say fog of war, but this is more line of sight.
Wait a minute, that's a police officer?
Yeah.
It's a bad cop.
Oh, a bad cop. I was thinking, oh my God, finally. They're here when we need them.
We don't know yet, but so far we've met several CCs.
Oh, he started off on hold. Let me see if I can clear that out. It's been a hot minute here. I think I just bring him off hold. It says he's on hold now. I want him off hold. I want it to be his turn. Requested interrupt. So what is this? I guess that means I dealt him a card, so I can select him, and I can. That worked. For some reason, I was doing things a little bit out of order. Golem County Sheriff's Department. Freeze! Drop your weapon! You are running the opposite direction. But what happens is this thug, this ritualist, turns on the person that's identified him as a policeman as he wheels about, revolver in hand, ready to fire on said sheriff's deputy. The sound of gunfire, 3 shots ring out. Bang, bang, bang. People scream, and you probably sense a bit of scurrying as people run for cover behind a wall or a tombstone or what have you.
Whew.
Go to Sophia. Your turn.
I'm gonna keep running.
Very good.
Let me run myself.
You have camera on?
I have camera on.
Hello. Wild husbando in the background.
Oh no! A wild husband has crossed the field of view of the players. Ava, what would you like to do?
Oh boy.
You're welcome.
You running bad man. I am going to run as fast as I can. Well, actually, I can see this police officer. Would I recognize him as anyone from the list that Jennifer gave us?
No,
Just in
Bec-
case this
be-
is a
because with the
Their
if you would ignore for the
Yeah.
moment the county coroner and Deputy Hector Martin, who is a deputy, and the county coroner, there are no other
Yeah.
people on that list that seem to be on one of the police departments, either the Pinebox Police Department or the Golem County Sheriff's Department. There is the one gentleman that owns the It's a Lock garage facility. One person is a woman that teaches German and history at East Texas University. But none of them, it occurs to you, is affiliated with one of the police departments or sheriff's department. You turn around, you see the thug basically laying on his back, arms spread wide as blood pools beneath his torso from being punctured by some well-placed shots from the sheriff's deputy. You see that sheriff's deputy is down low in a crouch, presenting his firearm in that manner.
All right. Well, I definitely don't want to be in that crossfire. I'm gonna skedaddle, and I'm let me see, where's my little run? Because I know I can run pretty fast.
Ooh, even a larger running die. Fleet-footed.
Is that 8 plus 3 for running? Or is it just
Yes, it is your pace plus your
Okay.
run die, which is a D8. Now you get that 8 anyway for your pace.
Oh, there it is.
but
Yeah.
You've added
Okay.
a D8, which a 3 is,
I didn't click on the run button. I just dragged and dropped the run die off of my thing. I forgot there's a run button.
Gotcha.
All right, so we're gonna move 11 squares.
Okay, to cut this to the chase, although it's not really a chase, just a bad turn of a phrase. As you are running in the distance behind you, receding as you move forward, you hear sort of that squawk box of a sheriff's deputy with one of those shoulder-mounted walkie-talkies.
Oh yeah.
So basically hard to make out, but he seems to be speaking excitedly into his little shoulder-mounted walkie-talkie. Sort of sound effect. And you are, along with many others, exiting the Pinebox Cemetery through the wrought iron gate, which is open.
Skedaddling away. That's all I'm focusing on. And looking back, waiting for my friends to catch up. Oh dang, look at Chip with a Joker.
Joker. Let's see.
Told you I was feeling lucky.
I'm gonna put 3 wounds on him, incapacitate him, make him shaken, which is almost insulting at this point. And I'm going to delete the token, and delete him. I guess it's when you delete him from the combat tracker that I get that little blood smear. You know, why doesn't it do that? Why doesn't it just...
Oh no.
Why is there no blood smear?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Everything that it asked of me, and a little bit more, and still no blood smear. Fantasy Grounds, I ask, why does it have to be so hard? Why does it have to be so hard? The only thing I can think of is maybe his, the ritualist guy. Maybe his character sheet didn't have blood smear or bloody smear selected as his dead identifier. I guess I could check that by going to encounters.
Oh, maybe.
I'm just so curious. You know, I'm a programmer by trade, and I really am curious about how things, you know, their inner workings. There's the cemetery. No, that's a different one. That was Lester Fagan. Guess ritualist. I don't know. It will remain a mystery. Pretend that there's a bloody smear there. Yeah, and at the close of the scene, you make it through the gate, along with, I'm not going to call it a stampede nor a herd, but we'll say perhaps a half dozen other individuals running for their lives. Did you hear that? Yeah. I thought it was a car backfiring, but it was 3. No, that was gunfire. I know it was. I know gunfire. This is Texas. I know what gunfire sounds like. So you are out of combat and safely out of the cemetery. You've got a backpack.
Woo!
It's got an urn in it. Canopic? Yeah, I think it's canopic and not canoptic, but I could be wrong. I asked for forgiveness. What would you like to do?
Did what's her name tell us that we needed to wait for her to try to deal with the offerings or the...
Sure. Her words to you were, grab the urn, bring it to my house. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
I'll meet you there with the urn that I took from the safety deposit box. And together we will decide the best course of action. And the reason that it is imperative to act quickly, in haste, decisively, is because the undead known as Franz Heimglimmer is attempting to move up the schedule after you killed some of his rituals in that garage park last night. He has moved up his schedule to cast the ritual, which will grant him humanity, mortality again, to sometime today. You know he garners strength from the spirits that are attached to the fetishes in each of the remaining urns. And he knows when the others have been destroyed. And that's why he tasked Jennifer and others with going out to grab the urns and bring them to him at the county coroner's house, who Erwin Ravinowitz, who you also killed. But that is, they're using that as sort of a staging ground. Yes, exactly. I would be remiss not to put up a picture.
Oh my God, that's right. Mr. Fancy Pants. That guy's face got smashed in. Actually, didn't they both? No, he did. He got smashed with the car. That's the one.
Yeah.
He sure did.
I think he was killed also the other one time that a downward strike from a heavy backpack with heavy metal objects in it did cave in somebody's skull or face. I believe it was his face that was, unfortunately, and I'm sorry,
head, man.
a mine.
You know,
Smash beyond recognition. Hector
just because
Ravinowitz
they're pretty doesn't mean they're good.
died on your front lawn. And Hector Martin, the sheriff's deputy, he, rather than having his soul tormented by the undead Nazi doctor, think he shot himself right up under the throat,
Yeah,
right up through the palate into his brain.
they both went down really intensely.
Mm-hmm.
And then the creepy spirit
Mm-hmm.
shadow the yeah.
That's right. It rose up, and off camera, a desiccated, dry male form burst through the front door of a small guest house next to a large, beautiful swimming pool in a nicely fenced and horticultured grounds. So, Shep, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Very good. Poor Erwin. We hardly knew you. Where would you like to go?
How soon can we meet up with the lady? We want this done quick, right?
I don't think she gave us a time frame. It was more like, when you get the job done, come to my house.
You would suspect that the
Right?
time it would take to go and retrieve the urn from the urns on display in the cemetery and going to a bank, waiting online. Perhaps there are two individuals in front of her to access the room where the safe deposit box is, present ID, although she's well known, and grab that urn. You'd think the two would probably occur right along the same timeline in terms of how long would it reasonably expect to take.
It's not super weird if some teenagers are hanging out in front of her house, right?
Oh, she
Let's just all
probably.
wear our university stuff. We're
Yeah,
fine.
We already are.
She probably would have said.
Yes.
Probably would have said, "I didn't lock the front door," or something like that. You won't have to behave suspiciously.
Wonderful. So I guess if we're all in accordance, we can head to her house, away from this mess.
Sure, and probably another Golden County Sheriff's car sort of like spins up, slides sideways a little bit in an angle, and two deputies jump out, and they're also communicating via the little shoulder-mounted walkie-talkie. Let's see, Jennifer Chapman's house. What would I have called that? This is not under Chapman. It's not under Chapman. It's probably just under like single family home or something like that. Let's see. This would be maps. Cemetery, Heimglimmer's house, Fraternity Row, Irwin's house. Map, there it is. House, 2-bedroom. Yes, yes. I guess the way that my synapses fire in my head, they fire slower now that I'm a little older, but they still seem to be firing in the same order, which I'm glad happens that way. Let's see, you're on the combat tracker. I'll drag you off the combat tracker. Here, right here. Let's see, I do that from the tracker using the little brown spot. Didn't seem to work. Grab a token. Drop a token. That's got to work, right? Yes.
I hope so.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes it just works. Other times, got to fight with the interface just a little bit. But there.
Sometimes we just hope for the best.
There you are. I'm going to share a map with you, imaginatively called House 2-bedroom 01.
Very descriptive, yes.
Yes. I shared it with you. You should see. You are at the front of, let's see, probably not. I'm going to put you instead up here on the what's probably like a little deck out front. It doesn't
Oh,
make
okay.
sense that somebody's front door would open. No, you know what? Shrinking it down a little bit. It's really immaterial. I'm going to say you guys are at the front door right now. It makes sense because it opens into the kitchen. No, in fact, I'm gonna rescind that. I'm gonna use Dean's
Oh,
prerogative, and
this is the front porch.
as I shrink it
Oh.
down a little bit, yeah, it makes sense that front porch, that little decking area would open up into
Yeah,
that main area,
I
which is
see
kind
that.
of a dining area slash living area. And I was confused for a moment looking at that one bedroom to your character's right. That's not a Juliet porch. That's got to be a closet, probably where the
Yeah,
hot water
I think
heater
so.
and maybe the furnace is. It
It'd be
matters
kind of
not.
funny.
It matters not. The door is a little bit ajar as you approach it. And although
Uh-oh.
I've placed the three of you, in a lightning bolt row, don't feel compelled to stay there. You may move freely about Jennifer Chapman's house.
Like,
Oh.
I know she
Should
said
I
she was
peek
gonna leave the door
in?
open, but
Okay. Um,
seems kind of sus.
I'm going
Especially with
to.
that skeleton on the floor.
Yeah. I'm going to.
Oh, buddy.
I'm going to endeavor to
Oh, what the?
to unlock tokens. I think it's a right-click unlock tokens. Yes. It is.
Oh, yep, they're unlocked.
You can now
There
move
we go.
freely about. And the door is ajar. Chef, would you like to you just ever so carefully creak it open a little bit, or look through a
Yeah.
window? Okay.
Like,
I,
Yeah. You see Jennifer Chapman. You think she's dead just from the way she is lying
oh my
akimbo,
god.
with
There it is.
with her arms kind of splayed out and perhaps on her side a little bit. And it looks like there was a length of some sort of clothesline, possibly a short
They
length
got her.
around her neck. There's also next to the body what appears to be like a dark green steel box, almost like something you would use to count change at a cash register. It is laying
Ooh.
it is laying on the ground next to her with the lid open.
I'm going to just kind of whisper to the girls and say,
Mhm.
it looks
Oh.
like Miss Chapman. Um, be careful. The others may still be here. And I'm going to see if I can stealthily get into the. I'll check the door just to make sure there's nothing obviously
Tripwire,
trapped.
bucket of soapy water up
Yeah.
the top of the boot. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be.
Okay. And then do my Scooby Doo sneak.
Dooby dooby doo.
All right.
And enter and then take a look around, see if I see anything else that.
Dead body, short length of some sort of rope, and what seems to be a green metal strong box of a sort open, and from where you are, appearing to be empty.
Okay, so it does look like it's been opened and emptied. Okay.
I would say open and discarded,
Hmm.
but yes, empty as well.
Okay, I will move over to Miss Chapman.
Okay.
And
Um,
just.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Out front,
Uh,
Sophia and Ava, you see a man that's about 6'3", a burly man. Probably used to be fairly athletic, but now he's a little bit older, and he is ashamed to be walking a Chihuahua. You can tell it's not his dog. and he's walking it down the street, hoping no one sees him that would recognize him walking this little ankle
Oh
biter.
my god.
He looks away and tries to shuffle past the house, obviously
Oh.
embarrassed.
Can I take out my camera and take a picture of the Chihuahua?
You have a camera with you?
Wait, do I?
I don't
Do
believe
you have
do.
a camera? You don't got a little Kodak?
I mean, I have my backpack and it's got a bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah, a little Kodak.
Pull everything
Maybe for a Benny.
Got a
Shep
digital
has a
camera.
camera.
Chip has a camera. All right, I'll
Yep.
come inside.
That man
Let me,
hastens, doubles his pace, Sophia. He grabs his run die, and the poor Chihuahua can barely keep up.
Sophia chasing after
And,
this man. Wait!
It's small and it's cute.
It's got a sweater on it. It's got a sweater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably
We've lost Sophia.
probably like perhaps something
Don't
that
leave
it
me
would
alone with the dead body.
something we applicable for
Sorry. I got
Valentine's
distracted. I'm
Day.
sorry.
It's pink and white with a red heart on both sides.
That's beautiful. It's a little shaky Chihuahua just walking down the street. Can we close these blinds if they aren't already closed?
Sure, they're of the Venetian style. They are all the way drawn down, but they are spindle activated and open so that you could peek through by
Roll
twisting
that
the
up
spindle.
real quick.
Just by twisting the wand, I guess you would call it. It would close,
Yeah.
make it like an opaque surface as the blind.
If I can reach it, I will try.
Okay. Sure. That's no issue at all. Shep, her face is blue, purple.
Mhm.
Her swollen, distended tongue lolls out of her mouth, and it's obvious she's been strangled by the red striations around
Okay.
her throat.
I was going to say if I have to, I'll do a healing just to see if there was a chance, but it doesn't sound like there is.
Yeah.
No.
There are other pieces of line laying nearby, perhaps just a little bit north of Sophia. As you sort of pick up that one length, you think it's all one length, but it's not. It's perhaps two lengths of about 6 foot, and then maybe a length of about 12 foot. Looks like they've been cut cleanly. In other words, not.
Dang. No room for traitors, it seems.
Want to go back to the Chihuahua?
I know, right?
The man's
Well,
like, rescue me, rescue me.
So she said she was gonna meet us here with her half of the stuff.
Mhm.
And if she's dead, then maybe the people who were here, maybe they're still here.
Yes!
Or they
Maybe still
left,
here.
or they left some clues.
Ruse?
Rouge? So let's see.
I will
is
offer
there
for free.
anything
There are
around
no
her?
photos similar in Frank Manz's house. There are no photos of Frank Manz and her together anywhere in this living room. There are plenty of places where a small 4x6 or 5x7 photograph could sit, but there are not any here. I just throw that out.
Okay.
Questions?
Nothing around her body stands out like anything that's similar to our urn.
No.
Or anything.
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
I
Upon
see.
moving the body a little bit, certainly her purse would be sort of partially occluded by sort of the bulk of her torso, and it's it's upside down, and items have spilled out of the purse. I would say a compact and lipstick, and perhaps half occluded by the upended purse would be, one of those nice woman's wallets with the little snap clasp that you open it up and it's got, lots of place for credit cards, cash, IDs,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
How much cash is in there?
We'll say
You got any cash?
I do have
Probably.
debts to repay.
probably like
Oh my gosh.
about $270 US.
She won't miss it. I'm gonna put it in my back pocket. Being careful not to touch anything else.
I'll make sure to tell Mir that you have his money.
You had to touch you had to touch at least the wallet to move it out and open it up.
Oh,
You
heck.
know.
And there's
Kids
other
don't know
stuff
stuff.
other stuff you would not be surprised. Perhaps like an odd like a receipt that was sort of crumbled and put in her purse, a restaurant, a bar, something like that. Maybe a couple business cards loose, a pen, some a mascara, they call that a wand, a little mascara wand.
Yeah.
For quick touch up,
I think.
Her eyes stare
Can
at you
I
lifelessly.
see if perhaps if there is a trail of some sort to see like where the people who did this, like at least what direction they may have gone in?